So I often get asked why 맛있다, meaning to be delicious, is pronounced as 맛있다. However, 맛없다, to not be delicious, to not taste good, is actually pronounced as 맛없다, 맛없다, not 맛없다. First of all, thank you to my channel supporters, my Patreon members. All of you are responsible for helping me to be able to keep making videos like these. And if you would like to help support this channel and support me, I'll have a link in the description box below for how you can do that. So to understand this, first let's talk about at least one of the most common sound change rules, and that has to do with this letter, iung. Now, anytime you have a consonant that comes before this one, any consonant, you can actually think of this one just like an empty consonant, a hole, because whatever consonant that comes before this, its sound will simply flow right through, ignoring it. So let's take this word. Normally, 맛있다 is from 맛 with the subject marker 맛이, because we have a consonant before here, so we can pronounce this as 맛이. That's how it's read, 맛이. But then what if we don't have this subject marker here? What if we just have this word 맛 by itself? I mean, I'm saying it correctly, but how do we pronounce this one? Well, there's another sound change rule we have to look at. Whenever a word ends with a consonant and nothing else after it, and that consonant is one that simply cannot be pronounced as is. So that would be in this case, because you have a word ending with this consonant, 시옷, this one would have like an S or an SH sound, but you can't end a word with mash because there is no sh sound like that in Korean. It only is created when you add a vowel. In that case, you have to change the way that that consonant is read. Now, I won't go over all of these consonants or sound change rules in this video because that's a separate big topic, but I will link to a video in the description box below for all of the main sound change rules, and you can watch that if you want to learn more. So one of those consonants that cannot be read as is when it comes at the end of a word is, you guessed it, this one. So whenever a word ends in a consonant and nothing else after it, and it's a consonant that can't just be read as is, like in this example, you're going to pronounce that consonant, no matter what it is, as this letter. So in this case, we get 맛. Again, this is only when it's not followed by something else that it can interact with or flow through. Here, 맛이 can interact with this next letter because it's empty, so it can become 맛이. So then let's look back at these two verbs that I wrote up here. We know that this one is 맛이 있다, 맛 plus the subject marker 있다. And this one is 맛이 없다. But when you remove the subject marker, so you don't say it, you get 맛있다. Okay, that makes sense. But then you don't get 맛없다, you get 맛없다 with this one. Wait a minute, they both have this? What's going on? Just for reference, let me write that. So you have 맛있다 and 맛없다. Now, if you're a beginner, this is all you need to know. 맛있다, 맛없다, 맛없다, 맛있다. That's it. However, doesn't that mean you could also pronounce this one as 맛있다? 맛있다. Yes, this actually has two ways you can read it. You can read it 맛있다, like that, or you can read it as 맛있다, 맛있다, like this. Whereas this one only has one way you could read it. So then which one is better? Which one should you use? Or which one's more correct? Well, 맛있다 is used over 9 times out of 10. But you could say 맛있다 and you're not any less correct. In fact, you're probably more correct because that has a subject marker in it like it normally would. But yeah, no one really says it as 맛있다. So I recommend using 맛있다 and 맛없다. There you go. But for those of you who want the reason, stick around. The reason, and I actually kind of already said it. This is supposed to be 맛이 있다 and 맛이 없다 with a subject marker. And 맛있다 as one word is a newer shortening of that. And why is 맛있다 shortened to 맛있다 and 맛없다 is not shortened to 맛없다? Well, it's sitting right here. The reason is the subject marker. Say this quickly. 맛있다, 맛있다. 맛있다 happens naturally because of the sound of E flowing into this sound of E, they become one. So you get 맛있다, whether you're saying it with or without the subject marker. It's always 맛있다. 맛이 없다, however, does not have that. Now, maybe if the word before here had some ol sound, it could have over time combined to become something 없다 as one sort of sound, but because it's E, it doesn't flow into ol. So you're always left with 맛이 없다. But these are still two separate words. So if you remove the subject marker, you get 맛 없다. Saying it as 맛없다 sounds like it originally was one word to begin with. So over time, everyone would say this as 맛있다 anyway, and it ended up combining into one word. Then to match with that one word aesthetic, they created 맛 없다, but the sound is different. And again, that's simply because it's easy to combine this sound into this one. It's all due to the subject marker. And in fact, this isn't the only case where this happened. Another really common word you might hear is 멋있다. And 멋있다 means to be cool, to be stylish. Well, can you guess how this one is supposed to be read? It's not 멋없다, this is the exact same thing. 멋이 있다, 멋있다. 멋이 없다, 멋없다. So again, it's all due to the subject marker. It's not because 없다 is some sort of special verb. And in other words, when you have one word that has 없다 in the end, it does flow right into it. Okay, so this was a bit of a long explanation. You probably don't need to know this, but now you know why. And more importantly, now you know how to pronounce these words. So thank you again to my supporters, my channel members, my Patreon members for helping to keep the lights on in this, literally in this room right here. I have two lights there, there's a light behind me. And if you would also like to become one of my supporters to support this channel, I'll have links in the description box below for how you can do that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in another video. 그럼 다음에 또 봐!